Good day, everybody. Today I'm going to be showing you how to play a card game called Vantage. This game came out in 1985 from the International Game. It's the same people that made Uno, and it is for 2 to 4 players ages 9 and up. Now, many of you are familiar with the game Uno, and that's kind of a take on Crazy Eights. This game is a take on a card game called Casino or Scopa. The object of this game is you're going to be trying to capture cards that are in the middle of the table and trying to get the most points. The differences between this game and Casino is they have these cards called action cards, and you have to turn them over every turn, and then you just simply have to follow the directions on them. I will go ahead and show you how this game works, and I'm not going to say it's unique because I say that all the time. Well, I guess it's kind of unique. Anyway, here you go. Okay, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and show you the different cards. There's 2 decks here. You have your regular cards over here. These are your Vantage cards, and they have numbers. There are some cards here like this that say big on them, and basically these are some of the cards you can collect to get more points. There's also 5 suits of colors here, and certain suits, red and purple, you will be able to get extra points for at the end of the game as well as the number 1. But I'll talk about scoring in a little bit here. Okay, these are your action cards. There's a number of these. What you're going to be doing is everybody at every turn is going to be turning over one of these cards. And these cards will basically, you just follow the directions. I'll explain what all these cards mean here in just a second as well. Now basically the way this game works is you're going to be trying to capture cards that are here in the middle of the table. And in a typical hand you're going to start out with 4 cards in the middle. I just put 5 on here just to show you a few things. Now basically you're going to start with 4 cards each, and once you end up playing out all of your 4 cards, you're going to deal out 4 more cards to everybody, like so. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And then play is going to resume. The first way you can capture cards is you can play a card that equals the same number as one of the cards on here. So if you have a 7, you can go ahead and take this 7 and then take it into your hand like so. Another way you can take cards is if you have a card that equals 2 cards on the table. So you have a 7 and a 1. If you have an 8, you can go ahead and play the 8 and take both of these cards right here. And also, if you do this, you can actually take these 2 cards and this 8 along with it. So that's a good way to capture some cards. And another way you can do that is what is called building. What you will do if you're wanting to build is you're going to, for example, let's say you have a 1 here, you have a 2 and a 3. What you can do is you can play a 2 here and say building 3s, which basically means you're going to be playing a 3 on your next turn. Now, if your opponent happens to have a 3, he can play a 3 on these 2 cards and take the pile. However, if he does not have one, you will be able to play a 3 on your next turn and go ahead and take the pile for yourself. So that's basically how capturing works in this game. If you are unable to make a capture, you will simply place a card in the middle of the table. Now, as far as these cards go, I'll go ahead and tell you what these mean. The pass 1 card means that you and the person on your left is going to pass a card over to somebody else. And whoever gets this card, they're going to go ahead and play after they do this. The lose 1 card means that you're going to have to basically play a card in the middle of the table without having a chance to capture. Now the blackout card, this is what makes the game interesting. If you get the blackout card, then all of these cards are going to have to turn over face down like so. And the only way those cards are going to be turned back upwards again is if someone draws a face up card. So there has to be some memorization that goes on with this here. So let me go ahead and just show you how a typical game would work here. Let's say I've got these cards here, and I'm going to go ahead and start playing right here. So I go ahead and turn up a card that says face up, so nothing happens. So I'm going to go ahead and look at my hand here and see what I have. I've got a 7, I've got an 8. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and play the 8 and pick up this card and these cards right here. So it leaves these 2. So now my opponent goes ahead and goes, and he turns this up, and it's a blackout. So he turns these cards over, and there's a 13 here and a 4 here. Now my opponent has a 4, so he can go ahead and play this card and capture the 4 since he just saw it. So he'll do this and turn that over, and then he will put that to the side like so. So now it goes back to me. I will pick up my hand, and I'll draw a card, and it says lose 1. So now I have to give a card up into the middle. And since it's still at a blackout, I'm going to have to go ahead and pick one. So I'll pick this 7 and show it to everybody and then lay it back down. So once again, my opponent goes, and he picks a pass 1. So now my opponent has to pass a card to me, and since it's 2-player, I'll pass a card to him. So he passes me this. I'll pass him a 3, and then he will go ahead and play like he normally would. So let's just say that my opponent decides to play the 10 and he lays it down. I'm already starting to forget what's over here. So goes back to me. We're still at the blackout. Now I remember that I had laid a 7 down here, so I'm going to go ahead and pick this 7 up here. And I'm going to pick this card, and it turns out to be a 10. So it turns out I missed it, so then I'm going to have to lay this card down here in the middle of the table, which is a 7. So say we have a face-up card that shows up. All these cards will get flipped back over, like so, and then play will resume. So basically what's going to happen is the game is going to continue going on like this until you get to the end. And there's a number of ways you can score with this game, and I'll go ahead and show you. The player with the most cards is going to get 10 points. The player with the most purple cards is going to get 8. The most red cards will get 6. The big card that I showed you earlier, and there's a few of these, they'll get 4 points for each of those cards. For each wild card, you'll get 2 points, and for each number 1 card, you will also get 2 points. And whoever has the most points in the game is going to win the game. So my thoughts on this game. Well, this game, I think, is a good rendition of Casino. You can play Casino with this game. I think the twist here works pretty good. It can get a little bit tedious having to turn over a blackout card, because there's about 14 of those blackout cards in here, but there's about that many face-up cards too. So having to constantly turn the cards over can get a little bit tedious. But overall, I think the game plays pretty good. If you like games like Casino or Scope or any kind of a card capture game, you might want to give this one a try. I rate this game as average, but again, you know, if you like these types of games, this might be one you might be interested in. So anyway, I hope you all have a great day. Please feel free to subscribe if you like this video, and I'll catch y'all soon.